Mazda's all-new premium platform, rear-wheel drive inline sixes, plug-in hybrids, etc. was finally teased for the first time. It's coming out of Europe. This is coming from Mazda Europe specifically. This is in French. Here's our first look. Now, what we have going on here is confirmation that the images that we got back in November, let me pull them up real quick, are 100% accurate to the actual designs. And what's funny is if you look at the location here, you look at the fence, it might even been at the time they were filming, right? There's the fence. It might even been at the same time they were filming this promo video. So anyways, what do we have here? Well, this is a similar pattern that we see on a ton of other Mazda products, and the same grille design looks to be intact. We have the daytime running lights that flow from the grille through the bezel of the grille into the really small headlight encapsulation. It's a really small package for the headlight and daytime running light there, and that's not a bad thing. It's a unique design. A little parking sensor here on the front, a strong hood line that comes from the edge of the grille all the way, probably flowing into the A-pillar. It's hard to tell. And then we have a look at the side of the vehicle, and just at first glimpse, I mean, it looks Mazda CX-5-ish, but just like those spy shots we got in November, we also have confirmation of the little side insert here. Who knows if it's functional? I highly doubt it. It's probably just for design purposes. And we keep going. It says discover more. Well, I'm roughly translating. I don't read or speak French. Discover more on the 8th of March. We're not that long for the CX-60, and it is the CX-60 that we saw here. One of my followers on Instagram reached out to Mazda, and they came back with them saying, hey Callum, thanks for getting in touch. The CX-60 will have a 2.5 liter plug-in hybrid and over 300 horsepower. I'll put up the image of the plug-in hybrid powertrains and engines. That doesn't really surprise me. I would expect in parts of Europe for only the plug-in hybrid to be offered, whether it's the CX-60 or the CX-80. Here in the United States, we're not getting either of those vehicles. However, we're getting larger counterparts called the CX-70 and the CX-90. I just reviewed the CX-9 yesterday. That review will be hitting later today because this is more of a breaking news. So the CX-9 is going away. We're getting a reincarnation of the CX-7, now the CX-70. That's pretty cool. And over 300 horsepower. I would suspect that Mazda is just taking their 2.5 liter naturally aspirated setup, giving it a big battery pack that they've shown us, and giving it a strong electric motor. There's a possibility it could be a Skyactiv X engine with an electric supercharger. And cross-referencing my spreadsheet here, I had a 2 liter plug-in hybrid. Well, now it's a 2.5 liter. So these numbers that I are hypothesizing for a 2 liter are definitely going to go up, right? So minimum 300 horsepower. And this is actually not going to be in the CX-50, but the CX-60, 70, 80, and 90. So I'm hoping for 30 plus miles of range on it. And it's going to be a lot more fun to drive than, let's say, something like the RAV4 Prime or the NX450H Plus, because that power is going to the rear wheels predominantly, and then with the transfer case will be going to the front wheels. Just one more look at what we have of the CX-60, which if you look here, it says you could probably make out Mazda CX-60 on the front license plate holder. And we have what looks to be 21 inch wheels maybe. The vehicle definitely seems a lot bigger than what we have currently in the CX-5, bigger than what we've seen so far in the CX-50. The hood just seems so much larger. That's not necessarily a bad thing. It could make this vehicle look really, really cool from the side with the long hood. Don't know how I feel about this side piece here, and the rest of the vehicle from the A-pillar back looks like a slightly enlarged CX-5. So I'll definitely update you guys on the 8th of March when we get official information about the CX-60. Hopefully the CX-80 as well at that time. Don't get your hopes up too much, but we also have a patent here, another strange patent from Mazda. They have patented a supercharged two-stroke engine. So I don't think this will ever make it to production. Hey, I love Mazda's uniqueness with their ingenuity when it comes to engine designs, whether it's rotary or Skyactiv engines. But we have some other news in the industry. Nissan doubles quarterly operating profit despite semiconductor shortage. We've been seeing this across the industry for most brands, of them just making so much money, not having to incentivize their vehicles to get them out the door. Operating profit surged to $453 million in the automaker's fiscal third quarter, which ended December 31st, up from $235 million a year earlier. Revenue dipped 0.8% to $19 billion in the October-December period as global sales sank 16%. So you're telling me global sales sunk 16%. They sold almost 1 million, but their operating profit doubled? That doesn't make any sense to me. Let's keep reading. In North America, sales declined 19%, but regional operating profit shot up nearly sixfold, $739 million here in North America during that period, driven by lower incentives and a better mix of models and a favorable exchange rate. Conversely, in Europe, their sales fell 18% to 90,000 vehicles, and the regional operating profit slid 33% to just 17 million. Look how much more money they're making in America. Yes, they're selling triple the amount of vehicles, but their profit is like 7 times what it is in Europe. And here's a dagger. Ashwani Gupta of Nissan confirmed to Japanese media that Nissan will stop developing new internal combustion engines for Europe from the advent of Euro 7 emission standards, as consumers there will shift to EVs. But he also said that Nissan will continue developing combustion engines for other markets where they make sense, North America being a big part of that. He pointed to the redesigned Z-Car and Road crossover, the kind of vehicles that are still in hot demand in certain markets. So while things are looking up for Nissan, it's still a show for Subaru. Subaru's quarterly profit is hit by chip crisis as production and sales fall. Quarterly profit fell 66%. So here, on one hand, you have Nissan's profits skyrocketing and Subaru's plummeting. What is happening? And there seems to be no clear signs of relief from the ongoing semiconductor crisis. Subaru's operating profit dropped 66% in the third quarter to $197 million. Subaru said it was hit by rising raw material costs. I get it. In addition to slumping volume due to the ongoing microchip shortage, Subaru's worldwide output fell 20% in the October-December period, for a 11% production slide in the first 3 quarters. And it's not going to get any better, I don't expect, for the fourth quarter of the fiscal year 2021. And worldwide sales tumbled 35% to 173,000 units in the last 3-month period. Okay, so get this. Subaru originally wanted to sell 1 million vehicles through the fiscal year. They downgraded it to 960,000. Then they downgraded again to 830,000. And now it's downgraded all the way to 740,000. So they're down essentially 25% on what they were expecting. And they kept having to cut their expectations as they just don't have the parts and the cheap materials that they were expecting. And then Subaru is being hit super hard right now because one, they're a small company and they extensively use commonized components. Back orders in the US soared to 42,000 vehicles in the October-December quarter from 30,000 in July to September, and then just 17,000 April to June at the beginning of 2021. And at the beginning of 2021, they just had 5,000 units on back order. Now, even though their operating profit in the last quarter slid 66%, they're still expecting an operating profit of $868 million. But their original goal was $1.73 billion. When they were expecting to sell 1 million units. So their profit has been cut in half in just a year. But we're going to switch gears here. Hyundai's trying to get back into the Japanese market. They left in the late 2000s, I think it was 2009, and they're trying to re-enter Japan. They're going to sell exclusively electric vehicles, and they're also going to sell exclusively online. So they're definitely appealing to the younger, more open-minded Japanese people who are not so, brand driven from Japanese made products. And if Samsung can break into the market in Japan and other Korean products like LG, Hyundai's expecting to have that same sort of luck this time around. Nissan just pulled out of Korea not that long ago, and Toyota is kind of floundering in South Korea right now, as obviously Hyundai and Kia are so strong, but also the imports from the European brands. But I'm going to end it there. Are you excited for Mazda's new platform, new vehicle, CX-60 through 90? It's going to be fun. And hopefully they also bring us a sedan and maybe a coupe based off that platform, but maybe I'm getting too greedy at this point. But I'll see you guys down below. If you enjoyed today's video, smash the like button, subscribe for more Japanese and Korean auto news. Catch you in the next video. Peace.